Imagine the city you live in suddenly being sealed off. Just like that. All of a sudden your favorite cinema or the bakery next door is out of bounds. Friends tell you they can no longer see their relatives. Suddenly there's a here and an over there. Your world ends in front of a huge wall. What sounds like a nightmare really happened. The 13th of August 1961 is the first day of the Berlin Wall. Let's take a look behind the scenes.
No one has any intention of building a wall.
Neither ox nor donkey can stop the progress of socialism.
I love everyone, all people.
We are the people.
After the Second World War, Germany was divided into 4 occupied zones by the 4 victorious powers. The USA, Great Britain and France formed the western part, which later became the Federal Republic, and the Soviet Union the eastern part. The German capital was also divided. In 1949, this zone became the GDR, with East Berlin as its capital. Work on the inner German border began as early as 1952. Thousands of people were expelled from their homes. A kilometre-wide border strip was cleared. In Berlin, however, Allied regulations still applied. In some places, one only needed to switch to the other side of the road to be in the West. And that's where more and more GDR citizens were headed. People were leaving the SED state in droves. What then could the regime do?
No one has any intention of building a wall.
That was an outright lie, designed to reassure the population and deceive the Western Allied powers. What Ulbricht was still denying in June 1961 had long since been finalized. In the night of the 13th of August 1961, the border between the GDR and West Germany and between East Berlin and West Berlin was sealed off over a length of almost 160 kilometers. Initially marked by barbed wire, it soon became a wall. The SED leadership walled in its own population.
And then I said, no, that can't be true. You can't build a wall there, because the S-Bahn passes through there, the U-Bahn underneath. There are water courses and so on. You can't just build a wall there.
But over the next few years, the wall was extended even further. The doors and windows of houses adjoining the inner city border were bricked up. The residents evicted. In some places, whole rows of houses were flattened. Escape should be made impossible. But how do you explain all this to the inhabitants?
And then the loudspeakers blared. We have prevented the Third World War. We have built an anti-fascist protection wall. This anti-fascist wall was only built because 2 million GDR citizens had, of course, already voted with their feet and left the GDR.
It was a real shock for me, the 13th of August. It was a major reason why I not only became critical of the state, but developed a deep-seated rejection of it.
The wall was a deadly obstacle. Günther Litvin tried to flee shortly after the wall was built. His escape attempt was observed from the west.
He was deliberately murdered. It wasn't as if they just tried to stop him. He was shot directly in the head.
Litvin is considered the first wall victim to be shot. His fate was the result of an SED order. Border guards were to shoot all fugitives even when unarmed. Those who managed to escape could count themselves lucky, but at what price?
At first glance, the idea of escaping from the GDR to the Golden West may have seemed attractive enough, but you could only take what you had on your person. All your contacts, your relatives, your friends, colleagues, everything had to be left behind. There was no way of going back to the GDR, not even for visits.
Today, Berlin is a united, vibrant, cosmopolitan city. The former division remains part of its identity. The history of the Berlin Wall is a depressing reminder of what a state is capable of doing to suppress its own people. And it reminds us that ultimately, people's love of freedom can overcome any wall.